All right, today we have Baylee. She's going to discuss the benefits of exercise for managing lupus. Go ahead, Baylee.
All right, so hi everyone. As Dr. F just said, I'm going to talk about lupus today and why exercise can be beneficial for people living with lupus. So you can go to the next slide. Okay, so lupus is an autoimmune disease that can cause inflammation in any part of the body, but it's typically most commonly found in the skin, the joints, and the internal organs. People who are most at risk are women aged 15 to 44, non-Caucasian people, and those who have a family member who have lupus. The cause is unknown, but many doctors think that it may run in families and that it may develop in response to certain hormones or even environmental triggers. And then, so every case of lupus is different. The signs and symptoms vary from person to person, but most commonly the signs are extreme fatigue, joint pain, headaches, chest pain, hair loss, and Raynaud's disease. And next slide. So since there's no cure for lupus and the symptoms vary so much, the medication that will be prescribed to a person with lupus is basically just to treat the symptoms. So depending on what the symptoms are, that will determine what your medication is. And these can vary from anti-inflammatories, anti-malarials, biologics, steroids, stuff like that, just to basically prevent the symptoms from returning because you can't get rid of it. And next slide. So exercise can be very beneficial. A lot of people, I think, with lupus are afraid of it because they do have that pain in their joints. They might have stiffness and that type of thing, but it can actually be very good and it can strengthen parts of the body that may be affected while increasing bone density. It can even reduce inflammation. It can control weight gain due to the medications taken. It can allow muscles to be less stiff while also increasing range of motion of the joints. It can even reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. And it also can just boost your mental health and decrease fatigue that you may feel after your diagnosis. And next slide. So typically low impact exercises are best for people with lupus. You don't want to do anything too strenuous, so low impact exercises could include walking, swimming, biking, yoga, that type of thing. And these will all strengthen bones and tone muscles without aggravating any inflammation. It's important to limit demanding exercises such as weightlifting, running, or aerobics. Obviously, if you tried that and it felt fine for you, you could continue. But if you were experiencing any pain, it's important to take breaks. And if one type of exercise was causing significant issues, then obviously I would stay away from that. And then next slide. So exercise is good for relieving stress. Stress can be a big trigger for a lupus flare-up generally, but it's important not to push too hard. Don't go too hard, too fast with that. Doing too much at once can increase the stress of the body instead of decreasing it, so that would induce a flare-up in that way. It's always important to limit activities that induce pain and take breaks. And then the best way to relieve pain experienced for lupus is mostly by moist heat. So things such as a warm shower or warm towels, or even soaking in a tub. And next slide. So this is a low impact exercise that I put together. It could be used for someone with lupus or even without. So generally 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. It can be, whatever that you wanted to make it. If you wanted to make it harder, you could add weights or bands, or if you wanted to make it easier, you could do less sets, less reps. But these are all good exercises that will increase strength without causing too much pain. And I think that's it.